Hello and welcome back to the deep dive. This is where we cut through the noise and get straight to the good stuff. Today, we're diving into an app called Primal. It's challenging some basic ideas about how these digital platforms actually make money. It's a client for the Nostr protocol, which is pretty groundbreaking stuff. So our mission today really is to unpack its approach to in-app purchases, how they do it and what that means for you as you're trying to navigate this constantly changing digital world.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here, I think, is how Primal isn't just, another social app. It feels more like a window into maybe the future of decentralized monetization. So we'll look at not just what they're offering with these in-app purchases, but the why these specific choices. They seem pretty strategic, and how they kind of reflect a different philosophy almost about how creators and users connect financially.
Okay, right. Let's unpack that. So first, maybe a quick primer on Primal itself and Nostr, its foundation. The material we looked at, it points to Primal being a social networking app, yes, but built on the Nostr protocol. Now, for anyone sort of tracking let's say, the cutting edge of Web3, Nostr is pretty significant. It's genuinely decentralized. No central server, no single company controlling your data, your connections. It's just a different way of thinking about
A
things.
whole different paradigm.
Exactly. How content gets published, and really importantly, how value moves around. And here's a key detail right off the bat. Primal is free to download. Apple App Store. No upfront cost.
Yeah, and that free to download thing, well, it's the classic signal, isn't it?
Mm.
For any app that's going to rely on in-app purchases. But when you connect that free part to Nostr, it suddenly gets deeper. It means more. See, with the decentralized protocol like Nostr, the usual ad revenue model that, centralized social media giants use,
Where they track everything.
right? Collect all the data, serve you ads based on it.
Mm.
That model is fundamentally challenged on Nostran. It doesn't quite fit. So Primal's monetization, it has to be different. It's not just about making it easy to get people in the door with free. It feels more like it's about aligning with this whole ethos of direct value exchange that you see in decentralized systems.
Mm.
So you get this tension, right, between a free app label and potentially a very, very different economic engine underneath. That's where it gets really interesting to me.
Yeah, indeed. It really makes you rethink what in-app purchases are, doesn't it? Not just like optional extras, but maybe core parts of how the platform even thinks about itself. I mean, most of us know IAPs, right? They power so many mobile apps, let you buy extra features or content or services right inside the app. But how they're used strategically, that tells a story.
And that leads us to something people often miss.
Mm.
The role of the app stores themselves. You mentioned Apple. So Nostr is all about decentralization, sure.
Yeah.
But Primal, the app itself, it still lives inside these big centralized ecosystems, Apple's App Store, Google Play. Which means for a lot of these in-app purchases, it's actually Apple or Google handling the payment.
Okay.
Which on one hand is great for the user. It feels secure, it's seamless, you trust it. That's a huge plus for convenience and, well, trust. You're using systems you already know. But it also means that a slice of that money, usually, 15 to 30%, that goes straight back to Apple or Google.
Right. The infamous App Store cut.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have this fascinating dance between the decentralized dream of Nostri and the very practical reality of getting your app onto people's phones.
That's a really sharp point. It's like bridging two worlds. Developers have to navigate that constantly. Okay, so let's zoom in then. How does Primal actually do IAPs? Our sources, the analysis we looked at, they highlight two main types in the Primal app. First up, prepaid Nostr Zaps. Now this is where Primal really seems different. Zaps, they're described as a way to send tiny amounts of Bitcoin, like micropayments, often used for tipping content creators or just showing appreciation for a post directly on the Nostr network. This isn't some made-up virtual coin, it's actual Bitcoin.
Yeah, this is a perfect example of what we call a consumable in-app purchase, but
Yeah.
honestly, with a revolutionary twist. We all know consumables from games, right?
Yeah.
Extra lives, power-ups, maybe some virtual gold. You use it up, you buy more.
Right, standard stuff.
But with Primal, these zaps, they're way more than just a game mechanic. It's direct, peer-to-peer value transfer, using Bitcoin, no less. Think about how different that is from the usual creator economy. It cuts out the middleman in a really profound way. On traditional platforms, creators are usually chasing ad revenue or maybe brand deals, and the platform itself is always taking a big cut. Zaps, though,
Yeah.
they let the audience send appreciation almost instantly, borderlessly, straight to the creator.
Wow. Yeah.
Kind of flips the script, doesn't it? From what people call the attention economy, where your eyeballs are the product, towards more of a value economy, where genuine appreciation can actually translate into real tangible supports like It's a whole philosophy baked into a payment button.
That's a really powerful way to put it, attention versus value. And it definitely speaks to the potential maybe of what a decentralized network could enable. Okay, so beyond these apps, which are pretty unique, Primal also offers Primal Premium Monthly and Primal Premium Yearly. Now these feel a bit more familiar, right? Lots of apps have a premium tier.
Oh, absolutely. And these fit neatly into the subscriptions category of IAPs. Specifically, they're auto-renewable subscriptions.
Yeah.
So they charge you regularly, monthly, or yearly until you actively go in and cancel. This model is, well, it's gold for app developers. It gives them a consistent, predictable stream of revenue.
Which they need for development updates.
Exactly. Crucial for ongoing development, fixing bugs, adding new features, keeping the lights on, and the yearly option being cheaper than paying month by month. That's a classic strategy.
Yeah, you see that everywhere.
It encourages users to commit for longer, locks them in a good way for a full year, helps build a deeper relationship with the app. For the developers, it's about building a sustainable business around those extra premium features. It gives them a solid base to grow from.
Right. So, okay, if we think about this sort of standard toolkit for app monetization, our sources mentioned three main kinds of IAPs: consumables, non-consumables, and subscriptions. Primal seems to be hitting two of those quite deliberately.
Precisely. The prepaid Nosters apps are a perfect fit for consumables. They enable that instant, repeatable microtransaction for appreciating content. You use them, you buy more. And then the Primal Premium plans, monthly and yearly. They are clearly subscriptions, offering ongoing access to enhanced features for a recurring fee. What's interesting maybe is what's not there, at least currently, the non-consumables.
Ah, right. What are those again?
Those are things you buy once and you get them forever, like unlocking the full version of a game or paying once to remove ads permanently.
Gotcha. A one-time purchase for a permanent benefit.
Exactly. Primal doesn't seem to be using those right now, which suggests perhaps their focus is more on recurring value, either through those spontaneous zap moments of appreciation or through continuous access to premium features with the subscription. It kind of hints at a business model that really values ongoing engagement and that direct, repeated support from its users, rather than just one-off unlocks.
That makes sense. It feels like these choices aren't just tacked on. They're really baked into Primal's whole strategy and maybe even its philosophy around Noster. Okay, so bring it back to the listener, to you. Why should you care about all these, sometimes subtle differences in how apps make money? It might seem a bit like insider baseball, maybe, but understanding this stuff actually makes you a much smarter, more empowered user, I think.
It really does. And it raises that key question. When you're browsing the App Store, deciding what to download, especially when something is labeled free, knowing these different IAP models, it helps you look under the hood. You can start to anticipate how that app probably plans to make money and what the real value is behind those potential purchases. For instance, if an app seems heavily reliant on consumables, you know its design might push you towards frequent, smaller buys.
Like in some games, yeah.
Exactly. Whereas a subscription model, that signals the developers are aiming for a longer-term relationship, promising ongoing updates and features. And with Primal specifically, understanding that zaps mean direct value going to creators. That feels fundamentally different from an ad-supported app where essentially your attention is what's being sold. So this knowledge, it empowers you, right? You can make more conscious choices. Where do I want to spend my time, my money, where do I want my data to go or not go? Understanding the financial plumbing helps you see how these services actually run and how that influences the experience they offer you.
Well said. And that pretty much wraps up our deep dive for today into the Primal app and this really fascinating strategic world of in-app purchases, from Bitcoin's apps running on a decentralized network like Nostr to the more, let's say, conventional premium subscriptions. It's clear there's a lot of careful thought, a lot of intentional design going on under the hood of the apps we use every single day.
Yeah, and maybe something to ponder is how this particular blend, using established App Store payment rails, but for something as novel as decentralized, direct Bitcoin tipping like Zaps, how that might evolve.
Sure.
Could the success of something like Zaps on networks like Nostrad, could that actually start to influence how even the big mainstream platforms think about compensating creators?
Interesting thought.
Does it maybe point towards a future where creators get funded much more directly by the people who actually appreciate their work, rather than just advertisers or, opaque platform algorithms deciding who gets visibility and who gets paid? It really challenges some basic assumptions we have about how digital content gets valued, doesn't it?
It really does. Definitely something to think about next time you're scrolling through your app store, deciding which digital worlds you want to participate in and on what terms. We really hope this deep dive has given you some valuable insights into how these apps tick. Until next time, keep exploring, ask questions, and stay well informed.